So, welcome everyone to Discrete Math, N55, Summer 2020. I'm excited for this course. So I want to start today by going through the syllabus, answering any questions you guys have about how the course is going to operate, and telling you a little bit about what we are going to be doing. So let me go over to B courses. I'm getting a little bit of lag on the screen share on my end. Hopefully that's not too big of a problem. So as you can see, this is the home page. Syllabus is right here at the top. So let's take a look at it. And I'm not going to say, well, it's all in the syllabus. If you want to go read it, I recommend that you do if you ever have questions. Right now, I just want to say a couple of quick words. So that's a little overview. Little statement on academic honesty. In this class, I don't expect it to be much of a problem because I am going to emphasize writing things in English, making arguments, and I think, there's going to be less like memorization copying, I hope. So I don't expect that to be a problem. Disability accommodations, if you have a letter from DSP, please send it to me. That's very helpful. Lectures, if you're watching this, it looks like you figured it out. So I don't think there's much more to say about that. Except that, again, coming to the live lectures is not required. They will be recorded and posted online for anyone who wants to watch them that way. Excuse my slowness. I am messing with Zoom again. Also, please let me know if I'm speaking too quietly or too fast. All right. Piazza, I am expecting to become a very important part of this class. So because it's totally remote, I am not going to be attempting to do any sort of traditional discussion over Zoom, 40 people. That sounds like kind of a nightmare. And also having to record it for other people. So the idea is to replace traditional discussion with having a piazza that is very active and with having more than usual office hours. And relatedly, I reserve the right to post important things on Piazza. So, for example, exam reviews or extra exercises that might be very helpful to work through. So I encourage you to keep up to date with the Piazza. It could be very important. Relatedly, office hours. So I have set some office hours for now. I'm going to see how they work and possibly change them. And in particular, if it turns out that office hours are, helpful for people and getting a lot of takers, then I'm totally open to even increasing the number of office hours. Because there's no discussion, I want office hours to be basically, part of the replacement for discussion. And actually, let's pop over to, oh wait, we were there. Let's go back to B courses for a second. You can see right here, office hours. So no office hours today and tomorrow. They will start on Wednesday. And starting on Wednesday, it will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 1 p.m., so the hour before lecture. And then Tuesday at 6 a.m. and Thursday at 4 p.m., all Pacific time. And like I say here, I'll probably reevaluate this in the second or third week of classes and see if I need to change the times, change the amount. We'll see how it goes. So back to the syllabus. That is what I want to say about office hours. What do I want to say about homework? So again, this class is going to emphasize making good mathematical arguments. And so generally, I'm going to insist that you write your homeworks in English rather than just in symbols. And this is something that you will be graded on as well. So the grader will be grading you on the correctness of your solutions and the clarity. And by that, to be clear, I don't mean spelling and grammar and things like that. You should feel free to spell words wrong if that's something that's not worth checking. But what you will be graded on is the clarity of your train of thought and how easy it is to follow. And of course, that is something that you're going to be learning. So I don't expect you to come out of the gates being an expert. And you should expect me to lead by example. So in lectures, I won't be doing A+ kind of work just because it's live. So there's not exactly as much time as I would like to write everything out nicely. But on Piazza and on homework solutions, you should expect to see very clear, well-written solutions. And you can try to emulate those when you're writing your own. Also, one little logistical note is that you will be uploading your solutions on Gradescope. So I hope you are all familiar with that. I don't know the process from the student side, but it seems like people are familiar, at least some people. And so I guess you can ask your fellow students if you don't know how to do that. And also, I think my impression is that there is a way on Gradescope to indicate where your solution for each problem is in the pages you're submitting. And I very much encourage you to do that because it will be a huge help for the grader, I think, if they can go right to your solutions. So please do. Exams, I have not nailed down the format of the exams, so I will let you know when I do. You will hear more about that. But what is nailed down is that there are 2 exams, a midterm, which is at the end of week 4, halfway through the course, and a final exam, which is at the very end. Okay, and here is a little schedule that you can read through if you want, and a little bonus at the end. So, well, yeah, let me sit on this while I talk about some other things. So I sent out a poll, and many people filled it out. It has been very helpful, so thank you for doing that. Some of the common concerns that turned up in the questions at the end were, very much what you would expect from a remote course. So first of all, having access to the instructors, which is me. And I'm hoping that, so I guess this is what I already said, but I plan to be active on Piazza, and I plan to hold lots of office hours. And so I hope that you will feel like you have access to me to ask all the questions that you need to ask. But of course, keep in mind that there are 40 students in this class, so there won't be infinity time, but there should be some. And the second main concern was finding other students to study with, to discuss the material with. And again, I encourage you to do that on Piazza. I saw that someone posted a Discord for the students. I think that's a great idea. Y'all should go join that. And again, during office hours is a great time to come and discuss things with me, but even with other students. I'll be happy for you to be talking to each other during office hours as well. So, well, okay, let me actually stop sharing the screen for a second so that I can go full standard. I hope this Zoom setting is having the expected effect. You're going to have to forgive me for taking a minute to figure out how to run things on Zoom. So I just want to say a couple more words about this course. First of all, I'm really excited for it. Oh my gosh, my Zoom background is doing horrible things. So let me change that real fast. There we go. So I'm very excited to be teaching this course. In particular, I think it will be very interesting to be able to talk about how to argue things in a precise way. I think that's a really interesting skill to learn. But also I think that the material actually has the potential to be very interesting. It's sort of a broad overview of many topics, and many of them are things that I actually am quite interested in. So for example, my own research is in number theory, and we'll be talking about some elementary number theory in a few weeks. So I'm excited to go through that. Hope I can find some really neat things to say about that. And then near the end, we will be talking about graph theory and topics related to that. That's something that the other people who are teaching 55 this summer have told me that that is commonly a favorite. And I have some interesting things to talk about that. So for example, there is some interesting applications to dimensionality reduction and machine learning that I've been sort of interacting with recently. So cool stuff to talk about there. And sort of basic probability topics are also quite interesting. Bayes' theorem is almost, you could say, like a sort of philosophy for understanding the world. And there's a lot of interesting things that you can say from the perspective of Bayes' theorem. So lots of things that I'm excited to talk about. And let me emphasize again that there's sort of two main goals for this course. First of all, to develop your skill at making mathematical arguments. And second of all, to expose you to a broad range of topics in the area of discrete mathematics. So one downside to this is that that's a lot of things to do, and it can be quite hard to fit it all in. But I think they will sort of feed off of each other. That learning to make mathematical arguments will help you understand how to deal with the topics that we're dealing with. And conversely, that having exposure to a broad range of mathematical topics will give you a lot of things to help you understand how math works in general. And finally, just I just want to quickly say that learning math is hard. Don't expect to be an expert right away. Something that I find very helpful is to try to recognize when I'm getting frustrated with things, which happens very often, and try to figure out what works for you for bringing yourself down from being frustrated and get back to focusing on the material. So that's the most important thing. And honestly, that's one of the most important skills that I've learned for doing math, is how to deal with getting frustrated and how to plug on. So with that, I think we are ready to get started lecturing.